Good morning. It is Friday, March 14th, 2025. This is Option Pit Live. I am Mark Sebastian. I am joined by one Queen of the Candles, Licia J. Leslie. And this is our weekly show where we break down everything you need to know about what's going on in the markets. Good morning, Licia. How are you?
I'm well. How are you, TGIF? Good morning.
Yeah, I mean, well, this week has definitely been a challenge for a lot of people. Um, we absolutely fall apart yesterday. Currently, we're running up 50 points, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Um, so there's a lot of noise in the market, and I think people don't entirely know what to do. They're maybe a little bit scared, but you don't need to be. So today we're going to talk about where we are with the markets. Licia is going to run through some charts. We're going to talk about where we're looking to buy stocks and when is our hey, we should just go to cash moment. Then we'll have Andrew come on. He's going to talk the market with me and Licia for a little bit. Then he's going to talk to us about what the VIX is telling us and how he is trading this market right now with a simple, easy trade. We're going to learn about a little bit about that. Then we'll close with some market predictions and give you the day. So, Licia, it's been a very steady. It hasn't been violent, actually, but it's been a steady sell-off.
Yes, it has. Yes, it is. And it shows on the charts just down, down, down.
Yeah. And, the interesting thing is we've dropped 10% and we have not had a candle bigger than December 18th in the S&P 500, which December 18th was a pretty violent sell-off, but then led to a massive rally, right? We rallied another 350 points. So why do you think that we're kind of feeling this kind of slow, steady decline, and we're not seeing any violence out of the market?
We had a close day to that December day, Monday,
March 3rd, right?
March 10th. We were down 200, and then at the end of the day, rallied 50 bucks.
Yep.
Isn't that what makes it so hard, right? If we knew we're just going down, which the charts are telling us, it'd be so much. It would be easy, but it's those whipsaw rallies that what we call the rip your face off rallies that make it hard to hang on to your puts.
Yeah,
right. Because any one of those could be the turnaround. Any one of those could be the day that we found the bottom, and I feel like everybody's looking for that bottom.
You're right.
Whether that's right or wrong, I don't know. But everything you read, it doesn't seem panicky. I think people are more worried. Of course, they're worried about their 401s and all that, but it doesn't feel panicky.
No.
Does it, or am I wrong?
No, it's been slow and steady, and it's been obviously led by the Mag 7. The market itself. I mean, if you look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average relative to the S&P, top to bottom, your Dow is doing a little bit better. We'll look at some of these charts, but I think what we're seeing is there's a little bit of growth concerns, and you're seeing a valuation reset. The price earnings ratios on the top 8 names, right? Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, Nvidia, Google, Tesla, and Broadcom, and who am I forgetting? I think I got them all.
Netflix and
Netflix is kind of in that group and moves that group. Their price earnings ratios had gotten completely so how much they make versus how much they're worth had gotten really, 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 really expanded for a mega cap.
Well, doesn't the growth question comes in because is the government keeps telling us they're going to cut back this massive amount of spending, right?
Yeah.
So that's where the growth concern comes in. Can the economy, can the market stand on its own without all that government support, right? All that extra cash, all that extra money, which
Right.
to me seems like a good thing to stop the meddling, stop the Fed, stop, we have to have some kind of interest rate. We can't go to zero. That is not normal. There
No.
has to be an interest rate. So just let it all flush out. And if we do have a decent economy, things should work out okay. We could move lower from here, waiting for that. Who knows how long it'll take because it's been so long since we've been on our own, right? When's the last time the market was on its own without all that? I don't even know. Before 08?
1995.
Oh, 95. Okay, there you go.
96, something like that.
Since
right. The market was last time the market was normal was right before the dot-com bust.
There you go. Yeah, that makes sense. Right.
But yeah, so I think they're resetting the growth expectations, they're resetting valuations, they're resetting interest rates. So the market is just trying to find itself. That's why this isn't violent. There's nothing that is like overtly scary.
Yeah.
It's just a slow reset, right? It's like watching your kid grow up and through his teen years, and that transition from kind of a jerk to mature young man. I don't know if that rings true with you.
Of course. Or that day that voice dropped and you're like, whoa, who are you this morning?
Yeah. So I think it's just it's a resetting. And, the good news is that because this is not some, it is fundamentally important because these valuations have gotten so high. However, it doesn't stop long-term the market going up because eventually these valuations will be set where they belong and they'll start making, and the money will grow up. But it's been a major reset.
But you forgot also, this is America.
This is America. Stocks go up. I almost forgot that. Apple is down to a 30 PE. I think that belongs in the low 20s. And so I'm just going to run through where these stocks are relative to where I think they should be. Google is probably fairly valued here. It actually looks like there might be some value there. Meta doesn't look ridiculous. Microsoft probably could drop another, its price earnings about 30. I think it could pull back a little bit more. Nvidia is probably getting near fairly valued. Amazon is getting near fairly valued, down to a 35. When was the last time you heard of Amazon with a 35 PE?
I'm not sure when that was.
Never. Tesla still sky high, but could keep going because that's the way Tesla is. And then Broadcom's in that growth stage, so it could be kind of interesting there. But that's what I view. And so now, what people want to know when they're looking through this, and this is why, it's so great that you're on the show every week, is when can I start pecking, right?
Yeah.
There are people with cash on the sidelines, and they want to know, when do I start buying a little bit of stock? So what are you seeing in the markets?
Just as a chart analyst, just as looking at, a change, we're looking for that change in trend. We're looking for that bounce. Now, for me, I always wait for the confirmation. I need proof. As they say, let the market price reveal itself to you before hopping in. Mm-hmm. I would put all these downtrend lines on all your charts. And I would not go long until we close over these downtrend lines. Personally, that's what I'm watching for.
Oh, okay.
We do have all these levels of support, and you go back to previous lows and all that, and that's where we kind of get our support levels and the pitchforks. But Personally, I would be waiting for a nice close over these downtrend lines.
Okay, so now real quick for everybody, how do you determine how to draw a trend line?
Well, you can see it, right? As soon as you pull up a chart, you just see this massive waterfall slide down and just line up those highs.
There you go.
And
so you've got Qs, SPX all on downtrend line.
Yes, might be a good one to use. Yes, I would wait for that. We can get a lot of change in trend candles that will be tricky and not pan out. We could get a head fake. As we know, the rallies are so violent that you're all convinced and you want to hop in, you're going to miss it. But for me, it's okay to pay more to be more correct or more likely to be correct.
So to Licia's point, she'd rather buy a stock for $20 on its way to 30 than for 15 on its way to 10 before it turns around.
Exactly.
Much easier money. Much easier money. So there's the S&P. Now the other piece that I'm hearing a lot about and everybody's interested is gold. It has been a massive flight there since we sold off. Since the beginning of the sell-off, gold has had a resurgence. It's actually outperforming Bitcoin since the Trump administration took over, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah. Well, look at the chart here. I do have today's high stopping out at 3,005 basically. That is the top of my channel here that stopped it before. And it pulled back a little bit. What's interesting is your MACD just today is turning bullish. That says a lot, right? You're just turning bullish on the MACD, which says this could probably trade up to the top of the pitchfork. 3,100, 3,112.
Oh, wow.
Just getting started, maybe.
Yeah. So there you have it. Licia is still bullish gold. And she explained exactly how to build a trend line and follow it and what she's looking for the rally. Let's bring in our own Vicar of Volatility, the Viking of the VIX. He is Andrew T. Giovinazzi. How you doing, Andrew?
I'm here. How you doing?
Happy Friday.
Andrew.
Good morning, you guys.
I'm not sure how I feel about that beard. I don't dislike it, but I'm not sure I like it yet. I got to see it fully formed.
Only
half baked.
Let's put it this way: by the middle of April, it likely will be gone.
No, there you go.
The only thing I would say, Andrew, is you don't have one gray hair on your head somehow. I don't know how. You don't have one gray hair on your head, but you're a little bit gray here. So
it is.
You don't have that baby face.
Yeah, it takes a little of the. It ages me considerably, I believe.
All right,
so.
Licia, you got to send him some Just for Men beard.
Yep. Yeah. That's all I need. I can imagine the students when I show up with a black beard.
That'd be hilarious.
What they would say.
Yeah. So Andrew, I don't know if you caught the discussion that we were just having about these markets, but Licia's laid out some pretty interesting that trend line that she's drawing on this downturn is I think pretty interesting. Do you have any thoughts on this market?
Well, a couple things. So one is we had pretty light inflation data, didn't we, this week?
Yeah.
Yes.
And normally that would have caused a rally. Now it caused, I think we made new lows on the data, correct?
We made new lows yesterday, yes.
So the policy, I would say, coming out of the White House is like, okay, we're going to kind of, they want rates lower because they've got to roll some debt. And they're getting it. I think the market rightly is like, well, maybe we shouldn't be at all-time highs and all of our Q stocks shouldn't be at all-time highs if we're going to try to slow things down, cut government spending, which I think all these things in the long term we can agree are probably pretty good, right? smaller government, like, I think this is the first group
I'm for big government and lots of entitlement programs.
Right. So let's see if it all happens, basically. But one thing is for sure, and you could see it, I think, in all of the earnings, like Adobe, for instance. What is AI going to do to software companies? What are the earnings going forward? They're all pretty nervous. So, and if you're, and you look at your retirement account, like even if trading, you're making some money on some puts or, a couple of positions, you long some VIX, you're like, woohoo, but your retirement account, you're like, whoa, so, and the steady amount of selling is just, I believe the market is repricing. Like a lot of the fluffy stocks have been hit pretty good. Doesn't mean they can't go down more, but I mean, they've taken a lot of fluff out of the stocks. And I like what you said about the Mag 7, Mark. Some of them are approaching. I mean, again, they're still huge growth companies relative to the size, but now the multiples are getting like somewhat reasonable, right? With the market down here. So, and then I guess the last point is gold is all of a sudden the Europeans are going to borrow money for defense, right? Because of this Ukraine thing. Well, let's see how that all turns out. But I think that's another reason why, okay, that's more, that's going to devalue currency a little more. And money is going to the placing. Like I can see if you were a speculator in the old days and you bought some Bitcoin at 10,000, but at 100,000, do you really, how much Bitcoin you want to buy?
Right.
So I think we're running up against that a little bit.
Yep.
And so gold's a haven. It's a safe haven again. And bad news is bad news. I think I can't remember the last time we had a negative month over month PPI number. So so again, new administration comes in trying to lower rates. He has all these crazy ideas, but a month in, everybody's so freaked out, they're lowering prices.
Yeah.
So
Licia, we didn't talk about Bitcoin. What do you think about where are you with crypto here? Looks like it might have found a floor here.
It's trying to. We got a little double bottom on support, but it is a massive, like, rounded top. Again, draw that downtrend line and wait for it to cross it.
All right. Well, Licia, thanks for popping in and giving everybody kind of a battle plan on when to go long. That's important. And you have yourself a great morning.
Have a great weekend, guys.
Bye-bye.
All right. So Andrew, with everything going on, I think one of the things that confuses people is why isn't the VIX 40? Right?
That's an excellent question.
And I think a lot of people want to know, so my question is, and I'll chime in as well, but what do you think the VIX is telling the market right now? And what do you think the VIX, maybe the VIX isn't telling it. What is the output of the VIX, which is a reaction to the movement in option prices, right? Whether people are buying and selling. VIX goes up when there's more option buyers than option sellers. VIX goes down when there's more option sellers than option buyers. So what is the movement in option prices telling you about where we are in this cycle of a sell-off?
So I think the bigger, the simple answer is this steady sell-off is priceable, meaning, you have the VIX is ultimately, if you look at it, VIX is the at the money volatility for a 30-day option, right? And the market right now is pretty comfortable with the 28.30, which is going to generate the straddle. I don't know, what is it, 250 or something for the straddle? Right around there, maybe a little more. I got to look, but maybe 253. So straddle being the SPX.
The at the money call and the at the money put added together.
At the money put together, right? So you're looking a month ahead, and when you were a market maker and you were short lots of gamma, what's the thing you hated the most, right? You could handle the market just every day just kind of grinding down, right? Because you just sell more stock against it. But the thing you really didn't want was the rip, right?
Yeah.
Rip up. So I think part of the pricing currently is SPY could go back up. It just, I think from a pricing point of view, it doesn't appear like we're going to go to 6,000 anytime soon. We're going to kind of sit down here for a while, grind lower, and see how far the selling takes us until there's maybe the Fed reporting next week, FOMC.
That typically does lead to a little rally.
Yeah,
what
it's
I'll
like
say
it's
is I
like
feel
it's
like
some
at least
clarity, right?
yeah, I feel like this segment of the this sell-off might be sell-offs can take a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I'm not convinced that this is a long drawn out sell-off. But what I am relatively convinced is that the front end of whatever we're on is over. Things are going to start slowing down. If we were going to crash, it would have been this morning.
Yep.
And that didn't happen. So, the fact that we had a pretty ugly Thursday, didn't get, but we're not getting through on Friday. We've actually had an up day in the last week. VIX has dropped significantly, even as the market is lower. That tells me that things are drawing to a close. So keep an eye on Licia's trend chart. But, so here's the problem, though, timing that rip, right? We all know that a rip is coming at some point, right? A crazy rip. Or maybe I'm wrong and we absolutely tank. Andrew, if only there was a way to consistently make money out of this market and not worry about whether it was going up or down. And, if the market tanks, you did great. And if the market rallies, you would do great as well. Right. I wish somebody had a strategy like that took advantage of that.
Me too. You
ever heard of anything like that?
So I have one.
And this is and I'm joking, folks, but because Andrew does have a solution, and the answer is two-way trades.
Right.
What are two-way trades? Two-way trades are essentially a reliance on movement, not a reliance on direction.
Yeah.
So Andrew, why don't you give us a little bit around two-way trades?
Yeah, I'll give you a little bit. So again, if you want to have sort of a natural portfolio hedge, Lewis, if you can share my screen. I think I shared it, but I could be wrong. Let me make sure. He's probably like, Andrew, you got to share my screen, and hopefully I am. So the idea real simply is this: I trade SPY and VIX because they're basically a perfect opposite pair. Well, as perfect as you can get, like you think Google, Amazon might be a pair, or gold, dollar might be a pair. But to be honest, the best one is really SPY and VIX. So as you can see, as the SPY declines, generally VIX rises. You also have many periods here where VIX drops quite a bit. So the idea of a two-way trade is you basically use your potential in the VIX to pay for your SPY options, and then you just let the market play, so to speak. And that's the idea of a two-way trade. It also acts as a natural, like, contra portfolio hedge style, because I'm always long SPY put spreads or some VIX calls in the strategy that I put on every week. So by taking advantage of this, the relationship between SPY and VIX and the VIX futures, and also the fact that SPY moves. Now, I got a question for you, Mark. How often, how many times, let's put it this way, over a 30-day period over the last 10 years, how many times did the SPY not move greater than 2%?
10.
5.
Oh, wow. All right. Yeah. So it always moves 2%.
So basically, I think it's 96% where the SPY moves at least 2% over 30 days. So month over month, it is a pretty predictable pattern. And I just need my SPY and VIX to pay me on the 2% move.
Gotcha.
And that's the idea. Check out weekly profit cycles go to optionpit.com and check it out. But that's the idea of the strategy. It has a great track record. I trade it all myself with my students every week. And it is a way to learn how to trade the SPY and VIX, kind of act like your own hedge fund, and have some fun with it. So there we go.
Absolutely.
That class today.
I keep telling people these are a awesome trade for right now. Would you just give a minute on why is this the perfect trade for right now?
Well, mostly you just don't know what's going to happen day to day. So right now I'm a little long VIX and a little long SPY for this bounce. So, and if we get enough of a lift here, I'll just, take my SPY calls off and I'll have some VIX call spreads for, hopefully very little money. And then we see what happens with VIX. Who knows what happens Monday. So the idea is the market's moving one way or the other, and you're taking off the piece that's paying when the market moves. So you don't have to, catch a particular direction in SPY or VIX because they're generally moving in opposite directions. You just have to close the piece that pays you. So it becomes just a strategy of closing. And again, it leans on the fact that SPY should move at least 2% over a 30-day period.
Yeah.
So
moving like 2% a day right now.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. That's another reason it's moving 2% every day. So you definitely have quicker potential closes with every position. So it's kind of cool. It's very cool.
It's the perfect strategy because if we get that face ripping rally, because it's got two-way trades, the bullish side of the trade makes a killing, and then if we wake up and the market has completely crashed because it has that long volatility portion to it, you're going to be extremely happy. So it's a trade that takes advantage of us not knowing when the rally is going to happen, us being willing to accept the sell-off and letting it work in our favor, and then finally the fact that these moves have been violent. So it's worked out. And if you'd like to join two-way trades, you can click the link or you can call us 888-872-3301, and you can learn all about how to execute two-way trades. Andrew, it is 8:30.
It's our
the market is opening up 50 points. What are you thinking?
I think we'll probably try to get up maybe 75 or 80 today, something like that. I would be surprised if it held, to be quite honest. If I could close some upside today, I will.
Yeah, I mean, the level I want to see clear is 56.15.71. Okay. In the cash, that's my 9-month-old trend line that we just crossed to the downside. But we're currently 55.70, up about 50. Felt like we might legitimately fall apart yesterday. What's interesting is, we're up 50. VIX not really down that much yet.
No.
So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that. And, keep an eye. I'm not fully convinced this thing is for real, folks.
Yeah, exactly. We got a little time. We need some you need some kind of good news. Something has to be a little more positive.
Yeah, don't let this market play rope-a-dope with you, folks. All right. Well, Andrew, once again, we want to invite you to join Andrew in his two-way trades and take advantage of the market. I think we're both in agreement that we don't believe this rally is fully baked. And, we're not playing along on the open. All right, Andrew, thank you for your time, and I appreciate it. And, looking forward. I hope you have a great Friday.
All right. Thank you. Have a good weekend, Mark. And
You too.
We'll see you soon.
So for Andrew T for Too Much Fun, Giovinazzi, our Viking of Volatility, our Vicar of the Vix, and Licia J. Leslie, Queen of the Candles, but we all just call her Queen. I am Mark Sebastian, your only option. Have a great, great weekend.
You know how the financial world goes. Here comes the buzzkill. Please make sure to take some time to read this boring disclaimer. We will owe you one.